today might be a little bit intense. So I just want to warn you, before we move forward, that some people might be able to handle the conversation, some might not. It could maybe be a little graphic at times. I'm not really sure yet, but if it's not comfortable, it's okay. Just bail out of here. But if it's not, I do appreciate you listening, and I also really appreciate you moving this out to other people who can hear this. That's the whole point of the channel, is to have these amazing, incredible conversations. So with that, I have Aimee. Hello, Aimee. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Pat.
So, why don't you just introduce yourself to everybody, and then we'll get on with the conversation.
Okay, well, I'm Amy. I'm 55 years old, live here in Houston, and I'm a male to female trans.
The reason you contacted me, your email to me was really caught my eye. I get a lot of emails, and a lot of people want to come on my channel. I wish I could bring everybody on, but your email was something very specific, and I really kind of want to jump into that, and then we can sort of move back and forth. But I really want to get
Okay.
to the crux of the conversation. And so instead of me kind of maybe saying it, why don't you say what the email was that you sent me, and maybe why you sent it?
Well, the last bunch of videos you've been posting have been all the dire warnings about doing any kind of surgery options if you don't have to, because
Yeah.
it's so dangerous and so risky. And try to find every other option you can. Save surgery for a last resort, where it's
Yeah.
just the only thing left that's going to make you feel whole.
Yeah.
You know, then, and even then, it's still going to be super dangerous. Just because you're willing to accept it doesn't mean it's not dangerous. And,
Right.
um, the worst possible complication, of course, is death. Um, I wasn't blessed with very much material to work with. So, my surgeon had to do what they call a hybrid method, where it's called a perineal pull through. And what they do is they take your tissue that you do have, and then when they go up and they form, they cut the opening and they
Okay.
go up into the perineum. That's all all the stuff that holds your guts up into your stomach. It's all got a
Oh.
perineal lining. And what they
Oh.
do is they go up and they cut into that lining and pull that material down and use that to kind of form this cavern or tunnel all the way
Wait,
out as deep
so
as you.
that's if you don't have enough, like if the length of your penis, right? Because most of the time they take the penis and they invert it and make a tunnel, right?
Yeah,
But if
that
you
that was
don't,
the original way of doing it, was by doing that.
and then so this one, they do this particular kind because you don't have enough sort of length. Is that why they do it,
Correct.
or they do it for other?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so
And
there's
well,
no.
some people, their dysphoria is so intense. Like mine was pretty intense. Like,
Sure.
I didn't even really want any of my male tissue to even be part of my body
Yeah.
if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But so I asked the doctor, and I asked other people as well that had the different surgeries, because there's
Hmm.
also the one where, um, I wish I could remember the name of the other
Okay.
type of surgery for doing it, but the other type of surgery, they would actually have to have two different surgeons, the plastic surgeon and a intestinal specialist of some kind, because they
Oh
would
wow.
actually, uh, God, I wish I could remember the name of that other type. But yeah, there's more than just one way of doing the surgery and creating the
Sure.
canal now. And some of the perks, like if all you use is just the penile tissue inverted, you don't, you're gonna have problems most of the time with your body creating your own lubrication, self-lubricating.
Right. Right.
And by using some of the lining that they pull down from inside, it's because it's covered in
Oh.
mucus and all that stuff. So it creates its
Oh.
own wetness, your own personal lubrication,
Oh.
when the girl gets wet.
Right. So that's
And
why they kind of go up what you call the hybrid.
yeah,
Um,
the hybrid method.
so they pull that. That's your actual intestinal like lining or
Yeah,
something.
some of the
Wow.
lining, I think they call it perineal
Perineal.
lining.
Okay.
It's been a while
Okay.
since actually, it's been a number of years.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, they cut into that
Mhm.
and use that in conjunction with your own tissue, and they graft all that in together and form the canal. And then the actual depth of your canal really actually has nothing whatsoever to do with penis size. You can have a 32-inch penis, and you're not going to have a 32-inch vagina depth. Your actual depth, you can only go inside the opening until you hit the pelvis. So
That's right.
however high up your pelvis and all the stuff inside you is,
Yeah,
that's as deep as you can go.
that's right. Right.
And that's why that's another reason for calling it a neo vagina, because
That's right.
it doesn't go all the way up into a cervix and all that stuff. It goes up
Yes.
until it's a wall.
Yeah, that's right. So
And
they can only actually make it that particular, and is everybody, every male to female body is different when it comes to that structure. So
yes,
right. So your pelvis wall could be different from the next person's pelvis wall,
yeah,
right? So
all my innards could be higher, could be lower than somebody else's.
great. Okay.
And that's where the
Great.
real depth of your canal comes
Okay.
from.
Okay, so
And
so so you're getting this surgery, and how long into your, so you started your transition in 2004. When did you start this surgery?
well, I didn't actually get the surgery until 2020.
20. Okay, so that's like
Yeah,
5 years ago. Okay, no,
yeah,
that's fine. A lot of
because
people don't.
I
Yeah.
had I had a long ways to go because at the time, way back in the beginning in 2004, I was still morbidly obese.
We'll get back into that, but I really want to get into the surgery. And the reason why everybody that I really get into the surgery is because I did a video recently about the male, the female to male penis surgery called phalloplasty, and all the
Mhm.
complications that come with that. And the trans community doesn't talk about it, and they pretend like it's totally okay. So all these young guys are like getting this surgery and regretting it. And
Yeah,
I this is why I'm hated, whatever you want to call it, in the community, because I'm willing to have these conversations. These complications are very bad, and we need to have this conversation. So you're getting this particular, sounds pretty drastic surgery, was it?
yeah. Yeah, I didn't feel like it was drastic because it was still, I needed it so much for my
That's
own mental
yeah,
sanity.
sure. So let's talk about, here you are getting the surgery. How long did the surgery take?
Well, it just took, I think, about 4 to 5 hours to get the surgery done, and
Wow.
then I was in the hospital for 4 days. They
Okay.
take you back to your room,
Right.
and the canal is all packed with gauze and everything to keep it open in the meantime.
Okay.
And then you stay in the hospital, and then you go back into surgery, general anesthesia 4 days later, and remove all the packing and
Oh,
make sure everything is okay. And then
okay.
on the day they send you home, they teach you how to dilate that day that they're
Right.
sending you home.
Right.
I had a person come in literally 30 minutes before I was getting ready to release, and they took the dilators and told me, okay, this is how you do it, kind of go in and kind of go up. Like,
Yeah.
stay here while I figure this out. Please. And no, they freaking didn't do it at all.
Wow. They
Um,
just like told you just put it in and put it out, like
yeah,
not, no, wow. Just
yeah.
wow.
And so I'm at home recovering for a few days, and I go back for my initial follow-up a few days later, and the doctor, the surgeon sees that, because I was still having a lot of pain, and I
Mhm.
just thought it was because the pain would eventually go away. I was dilating like I was supposed to be, and everything else.
Mhm.
But the doctor, he didn't really tell me. He said it was. He said he needed me to go ahead and go across the street and get readmitted. So they didn't even send me to the admissions place or give me a wheelchair to get across. I walked, across a 6 lane and train highway to get over to
Wow.
the other side of the hospital to the admissions. And then, I was telling the admissions lady, I don't know, you just told me I need to come over here and get readmitted.
Wow.
And, but yeah, I could barely walk because what was going on was, I told you I had to bring down the skin and graft it to my outer skin and all that stuff. And it turned out that grafting didn't take.
Oh,
When you grab skin on the skin,
yes.
that skin needs to get blood flow, all the way up to the very outermost layer of your skin. There's blood vessels in there. And, that's why you can just barely nick your skin and it'll bleed.
Okay.
And, what happened was that the graft he had created to create my canal didn't get vascularized good enough. And I don't know if it's because there was a problem with the surgery or if I had done something wrong
Oh,
and or what happened exactly. But my canal was decaying and dying and turning into a black, sick, disgusting, infected mess. And anybody who, I mean, basically you've seen people get gangrene and stuff, and this was the kind of stuff that it was just going to spread and spread and spread and spread and spread. And
and kill you because you could get
yeah,
septic
my body
from
was
that.
filling with toxins. Yeah, and you get septic. And once I got admitted, um, then became the next 2 months of living utter hell for me. Um,
Wow.
what they had to do was put me under general anesthesia, completely knock me out every other day. And they would, while I was knocked out, they would go in and they would cut away as much of the decayed flesh as they could, I, safely. I guess they couldn't just cut it all away at once. I don't know why they couldn't do it all at once. I
Well,
don't
probably it
know.
would collapse. Something might collapse or like, yeah. Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
I was in the hospital for 2 months, and for about the first 2.5 weeks of that 2 months, every other day I was going under general anesthesia, getting cut away a little bit,
Oh my God.
and they take me back to my room, and the dressing that they had to put on me, it was a wet dressing, it's some kind of like a biomedic gel,
Yeah.
and they would lay that on my exposed raw tissue. And at first, for a while, they had a catheter in, so it wasn't a problem going to the bathroom. But then when they thought they got far enough along, and they didn't bother to recatheterize me while I was still staying in there anymore, and because I was able to get up and walk, with a lot of pain, and so I could make it to the bathroom. And when I would go in there and sit down to use the bathroom, I don't know if you've ever felt that kind of pain, urinating on raw, open, exposed flesh, where I, I was on the most, it was like somebody had taken hot pokers and was shoving them all against my skin,
Oh
all the
my
way up inside me.
God. Oh my God.
And nurses had to bring a basin of water that they could suck up into a syringe, and they was squirting the syringe of water on my vagina as the
Peeing.
urine was coming out,
Yeah.
so that it wouldn't get on that skin.
Oh my
And
God.
after 2 days of that, they decided to go ahead and redo the catheter again.
So they had you
And
suffering there for days without, why didn't they
yeah,
just reinsert the catheter?
I don't know why. And maybe I wasn't the best at self-advocating at the time. By that
Yeah.
time, I'd been in so much depression in there because I
Oh my
couldn't get out of the
God.
hospital or anything like
Two
that.
months? 2 months you were in that hospital?
Yeah, and
It's insane.
then
Was this
yeah,
doctor that you used, was he somebody that was already versed in creating these
yeah,
vaginas?
and I got him as a referral from somebody else who sang his praises. I don't mind saying his
See,
name. If am I allowed to say his
you
name?
can say his name. I don't.
Okay,
Why not?
okay,
He's your
yeah,
surgeon. Why not?
yeah, Dr. Daniel Freet from UT Physicians on Fannin Street.
How do you spell his last name? Fr?
Uh, Freet.
Yeah, I'm gonna look him up. Daniel Freet. Okay. Wow. So no, you can 100% say his name. He's literally your doctor. So as this is happening to you, is Dr. Freet coming in to visit you or saying anything to you during this time?
He might have made an appearance sometimes, but I, I think 98% of the time I was passed off on his staff members to do the surgeries and everything else every other day.
Oh my God. You know how many times
Um,
I hear this, Aimee? And this happens, especially in the trans male community when their penis surgery goes bad. The doctor doesn't want to have anything to do with you anymore because it looks, this is what they were telling me, these guys, because it looks bad on the doctor. So they try to
mhm.
disassociate themselves with you because they don't
Yes.
want people to know that this surgery did not work. But it's so important that we say who this doctor is. And it's so important that we understand this situation because is he doing these same kind of surgeries on other people?
Yeah,
Do you
I've
think?
got at least two friends that have had surgery with him. Another person, the one that actually referred me to him,
What?
she was going to him for a revision actually because she just wasn't, she didn't stick with her dilating, so she lost her depth and she was going to have to go get a revision to get her depth put back
Oh my
basically.
God. Oh my God.
And
It's, but has anyone ever had the same problem that you had? Do you know of anybody who had the surgery done who has the same situation that
I've
happened?
never heard of anybody having their vagina die basically, and that's what mine
Basically.
did.
So,
And
so
I'm still dealing with it because
yeah.
since I don't, they took, um, they had to give me new skin down there, and so they took skin graft off my thigh,
Oh my
about
God.
two 6 inch by 3 inch strips off my thigh, is
Mm-hmm.
what it took to fix that down there, and
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't to give me any depth. That was just to patch the skin. They basically, I lost the entire canal. Right now, my vaginal canal is as big around diameter as my ring finger. I can shove my ring finger up in there if I try real hard and use a lot of lube, and it only goes up to about the second knuckle.
So what, this
Now,
is
the
so,
one
so that's
blessing I
kind of
have
like,
is that,
that's kind of like
uh,
called vagioplasty, right? Vagioplasty is
yeah,
different than what, because
yeah, it's basically
vagioplasty
a
is
zero depth.
zero is I always call it the Barbie bump. So it's just
Yeah,
basically sort of like a cosmetic vagina that's
yeah,
not
I've
functioning.
basically I got a functioning key hole. I could go and I could go somewhere else and get a revision, but
Don't do it.
I'm dealing with so many other things right now, and at least I can pee correctly. And there's so many people that can't even pee correctly after surgery. And
What?
um, I don't have the best uh, urine control. Um, Even all these years afterwards, I still wear a overnight incontinence pad in my underwear all day long, all night long, because if I don't, then I'll they say as a woman gets older, they sneeze and they pee a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
I basically have had that since the beginning at this point.
Because it literally took
And
away your whatever functioning of your of holding your pee, so it
yeah,
destroyed that for you. I want people to understand, however you're feeling about her conversation with me and whatever judgment you might be making, because you probably are, you have to understand that the dysphoria is so intense for many of us that, especially the bottom spot, that people are willing to go through this kind of stuff just to be able to not have the genitals we're born with. And so I hope you can put your judgment aside today and you can just sort of listen to the story in a compassionate manner and also understand that Aimee didn't deserve this. Aimee did not deserve to have this shitty surgery nor go through all this shit. I do appreciate your time a lot, my friend. So thanks for reaching out. Thanks everybody for watching. And again, subscribing to the channel helps a lot, and the comments and liking this video and maybe getting it to someone who's thinking about going through the surgery. And that, I always want to show all sides to these situations. Tori had a great surgery. Aimee didn't have a great surgery. So these are the kind of balances we need to have the conversation with. So I'll see you guys all on the next one. Have a great, awesome, beautiful day. And thanks again for joining us today.
The person accused of trying to grab a fifth grader from a Cherry Creek school playground last year is incompetent to stand trial. And for the fourth time in 7 years, that person will see the charges dropped because of incompetency, though they're being transferred to a mental health facility. Kids at Black Forest Hills Elementary School yelled "stranger danger." Solomon Galligan is accused of trying to grab a fifth grader at recess in April 2024. Almost 1 year ago, Galligan was found incompetent to stand trial. 9 News Investigates looked into Galligan's criminal history and found felony charges dropped twice in 2021 and again in 2018 because Galligan was found incompetent to stand trial. A spokesman for the Arapahoe County District Attorney's Office, which will be dropping the charges, tells us Galligan is not being released to the public, but is being released to a mental health facility.
Wow. Okay, this story is pretty creepy, but what I want to do is I'm going to add some other things to show you that this person is not the only... Oh my God, I fell into a deep hole of predators and kids. It's insane. I don't know if it's because I have a kid now that I'm more aware of this stuff, but wow, or is it getting worse because of the internet? It's so creepy. So I also noticed that this was... this person is being called trans. So I did a little bit of a dive into finding out if that's the truth or if people are just saying it. So I found this article from April 2024 when all of this stuff happened. Family of suspect in Colorado attempted school kidnapping, pleads for more state mental. Well, clearly this person has a mental illness. There's no doubt about it. And it's how many times they've been arrested. And I guess you get off when you're mentally ill, but you go to a mental institution, but then you get released. This person keeps getting released, which is totally insane. So it said here that Sarah, the adopted sister of 33-year-old Solomon Gallagher, students at the Black Hills Elementary say walked onto the playground during recess and tried to take a child. While Solomon claims to identify as a woman, as Solomon was in the process of transitioning for several years, the family is choosing to use he, him pronouns to tell the story. And then just goes on to talk about how mentally ill he is and that he needs to be, but he is identifying as trans. And so is that part of the mental illness? Is that the whole self-ID thing that I keep telling you guys how dangerous it is to let somebody just self-ID as a woman? And I'll show you more and why this is so dangerous. And these people aren't getting any mental health care or evaluations to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria and a mental disorder called gender dysphoria. They're just identifying as that. So then...
This school, Black Forest Elementary School. Here's what's happening out here. Take a look at this video. You can see the suspect coming onto the field. It happened during an afternoon recess on April 19th. He is only on the field for about 1 minute, but he approaches one of the students, raises his right hand, and he tries to grab what is a fifth grader by the shoulder. Fortunately, he falls down, and the student is able to get
a boy during elementary school recess. This happened at Black Forest Hills Elementary School on Friday afternoon. A phone call to parents said the man entered school property, engaged with students, and then left. Then this afternoon, the school district sent out an email to parents informing them this man, 33-year-old Solomon Galligan, had been arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping. That email to parents from the principal of the school, Amanda Replug, says right after the incident, staff brought students inside from recess and called district security. In another letter, she says the school safety team will convene tomorrow to review security protocols, and there will be increased supervision this week.
So how is this dude running around on a school playground and snatching kids? And I don't know how much you could see there, but the kids were like running like this crazy looking dude who looks totally insane, okay, is completely trying to snatch a little kid. And now this person, how many times have they been arrested? 4 or 5 times? I think it said here in this that, hold on, let me bring this up. So it says here that Colorado Democratic DA will be recalled for moving to dismiss charges against trans sex offender accused of trying to kidnap a boy. So I think because they're mentally ill, okay, I don't know what determines that. Clearly this person is mentally ill, but to dismiss the charges, the whole thing seems so sketchy to me. And this is like the 4th time that this scary looking person has had this situation happen with them. And I'm not really sure why they're just going into, so they definitely need to be in a mental health care facility. And again, I want to reiterate, it says here that this person, the reason they're saying trans, okay, is because first off, that they've been in and out of jail. The sister says they've been in and out of jail for so many years, right? They've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar, When he was 16, he was deemed unfit to stand trial. So he's been doing this since he was 16 years old, right? And then right here it says Solomon Gallagher shared the news of his gender transition in 2011 on Facebook post and later identified as a woman. The same year he was placed on the sex offender registry after he was convicted of non-consent sexual contact. This dude has been doing this stuff. He's been in jail since 16. And even the family's like, what is going on here? We need to get this guy some help, but there is no mental health care, which is completely insane in itself. So as we move forward, I want to start to show you this sort of transgender predator thing that is happening when people like this can just self-ID. He started identifying as a woman. Never does it say they went through any kind of system. They just started identifying as a woman. Okay, so then this is why it's so dangerous that we just have such a flimsy idea of what trans is.
All right, you're going to want to pay attention to this because it really is stunning. A registered child sex offender facing 20 charges now for allegedly exposing himself multiple times to women and young girls in locker rooms at high schools across Arlington County, Virginia. And the area's transgender policies may have paved the way for him to do it. Yeah. Let's bring in the Virginia Attorney General, Jason Miyares. Mr. Attorney General, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. A lot of people at home watching this may wonder how we got to the point where a registered child sex offender can gain access to a girl's locker room at a high school aquatic facility.
Wow.
Simply by claiming to be transgender.
There you go.
Well, as often happens in these types of cases, you hear these stories and you think, how in the world did this happen? And this happened because you had certain local, in this case, a local Commonwealth's attorney in Fairfax, who views himself more as a social worker than a prosecutor. And so back in June of last year, months before these incidences in Arlington, this individual, as noted, was a registered Tier 3 sex offender, the highest level for indecent liberties with a child, a criminal conviction, a felony conviction dating back to the 1990s. This individual went to a Planet Fitness, exposed himself. Those charges were later dropped. But the reality is, because he's a Tier 3 registered sex offender, he's not allowed within 100 feet of a daycare or center or school. Guess what? Right next to that Planet Fitness was a daycare center.
Wow.
If they could have prosecuted him on a felony in June, he was allowed to be back on the street. And as a result, he exposed himself to a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, multiple individuals, and now he's facing multiple charges in Arlington. But this is what happens when local prosecutors fall through the cracks, and local government, in this case in Fairfax, specifically allowed a policy that allowed individuals like him, a biological male, to freely walk in and use the women's restroom.
See, that's the self-ID. How is this person trans? It opens up such a huge chasm for anyone to say they're a woman. And also, I want you to notice all the videos that I found today, and I searched, they're all men who claim to be women. There's not one woman claiming to be a man who's in this predatory space. Think about it. It's so disgusting that we have this, and shame on the transgender activism for opening this up for these gross freaks to attack children. And like, what is, no wonder everybody hates us.
As you said, there's quite a history with this fella. And in terms of Arlington Public Schools and their facilities, it didn't happen just once. It happened in multiple locations, including the Barcroft Sports and Fitness Center, the Washington Liberty High School, and Wakefield High School. Look at this person. Parents had alerted the school board about earlier incidents, but it appeared to fall on deaf ears. Here's what WJLA, one of the local affiliates.
Because people are too scared to say anything back then, not anymore. I think this is a little bit older, but you know what? Like, oh man, I can't say anything. You're being transphobic. The woman is pulling her penis out in the locker room.
Reported, quote, the mother said she spoke to Arlington County School Board member Mary Cadera about the situation in September of 2024.
Disgusting.
And Cadera's solution was to add signage encouraging people to be considerate of others, to cover private parts in locker rooms, and to observe locker room etiquette.
Disgusting.
Mr. Attorney General, what about the basic idea of keeping sex offenders the heck out of girls' locker rooms?
What? Like, you think an actual sex offender is going to feel like being considerate towards little kids and women? Please, people, please. Oh my God, it's so pathetic. So, of course, I found this when I was doing my research a little bit. And, of course, my great friend here did this great video.
These days, the narrative is that transgender people will come into bathrooms and abuse little girls. The supposed purity of the victims has remained stagnant. There are no princesses. Little girls are also kinky. Your kids aren't straight and as narrow as you think.
Gross. Just
Good
gross.
morning.
Hi.
It's 3 p.m. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to yet another video that if the world had even an ounce, an iota of sanity in it right now, I would not have to make. However, we're here making it. So if you've been on this channel for a while, you probably recognize this face. This is Alok Vade Menon, famed trans activist, influencer, non-binary activist. I have had many annoyances, grievances, and critiques of him over the past couple years. I think I've made 2 or 3 videos over the years about him, but this video is actually not about that at all. Some really disturbing posts have resurfaced in regards to Alok, and
gross.
I am gonna say I don't know how I missed them, but I actually do know how I missed it, because this has been heavily censored, and people who talk about this have been banned off Twitter. I don't know what kind of pull he has at Twitter to make that happen.
Well,
and you guys
X
know
now.
I'm not the person to pull up old receipts and point out things that are offensive, that weren't offensive then, but are offensive now. But when it comes to potential predatory behavior, when it comes to comments about children, I think that's a different ballgame, and I have no problem calling that out.
Right
and
on,
frankly,
Blair.
after seeing this, I am absolutely more revolted, disgusted, and offended than ever that Alok has this huge platform, that he's constantly platformed by celebrities and hailed as like a thought leader in the trans community. I don't want this to be a leader in any community that I'm a part of. So it started.
So thank God we have actual people like this person, Blair White, who really has been calling these people out for years upon years upon years. She's been doing the work, calling out the community on their nonsense, and thank God for her, because honestly, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Blair, just so you know. So I really respect that person a lot, and I think she has a lot of integrity, and she's super awesome. And so they're calling out one of our own, not mine, not my community, but that person says some creepy stuff. Not the only one. You and I both know. I just did one on this creepy freak. Okay, so let's look at this one.
Attracted to girls. That's never changed. I just didn't know I was a lesbian until I transitioned, because I didn't know I was trans, so I couldn't have known that. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was a boy until I didn't. So.
Bro thinks that he's a lesbian, but I want you to pay attention to something a little bit deeper, because I think the language is really important, and this dude is absolutely telling on himself. For those of you who don't know, that's Nick Cantino. He likes to be called Lily Tino, but fuck that, I ain't doing it. He keeps saying girls. Girls. Not women. Girls. And all of his shit revolves around children in some way, shape, or form, because that's the line that he's pushing. He's constantly going to Disney, to children's spaces, to talk about inappropriate sexual shit. Everything about this dude screams predator, and I really hope that the state of Florida takes him off of the streets, because the Attorney General is currently investigating Nick Tino. Fuck that dude, man.
Okay, and then we have people just saying, well, who are they? And these are trans people. This reflects the transsexual community. That's the transgender community. I know y'all who watch me regularly know there's a difference between a transsexual. Myself, Blair, we are transsexuals. We understand our biology, blah, blah, blah. Then there's the creepy transgenders who are doing all of this creepy stuff. I mean, I can't even believe how many there are who've been accused of this kind of stuff. And then we got big people who have huge platforms just totally going, look, what the heck? I think that dude would be super cool with me and Blair, and I really do believe that. I think that they're just calling it out like we're calling it out. So then the next one I have is so creepy. It's just going to make you want to puke.
No, I'm getting arrested.
Take a seat.
Why? For that shit.
Take a seat.
I'm trying.
Take a seat.
For what?
On April 12, 2023, Bloomington police officers were dispatched to a residence with an arrest warrant for Michelle, a transgender woman who was accused of sexually assaulting her 9-year-old daughter and 8-year-old son. Michelle earlier identified as James, but she had changed her name legally.
There we go. Another one. Okay, I could just put on so many of these. I found so many of these transgender male to female. It's just crazy how many there are. And again, there's no female to male predators out there, it seems to me, or there might be, but they're not being put on the internet like these people are. It's just one after another. This person did it to their own children, to 2 children. What? Why? Why are they identifying as transgender? That's the thing that I'm really concerned about. And what the hell is going on? There's just so many of them. Then they caught this one, which this one is, let me just see if there's a little bit more here that might be interesting.
Prior to his arrest, James had learned of the accusations made against him through his ex-wife. He then destroyed his phone, which contained pornographic images that he showed his children while abusing them. Some of those nudes were of his ex-wife, who had parted ways with him after he came out as a transgender woman.
Okay, so we can walk to the...
hands, right?
Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. These people are not transgender. They're freak, pervert, freaky weirdos. Okay, yuck, gross, just yuck. Okay, so then there's this one.
Why are you guys looking at me? Listen, we got all the audio, we got all the chat logs, talking to Allie. We're going to talk about it, all right? Oh my God. I'm just trying to have fun here.
23-year-old Christopher Carey, a transgender online sex predator from Hastings, Nebraska, believed he was communicating with a 12-year-old girl from Lincoln, Nebraska.
You were talking to her last night about, sex.
You just got to know her. You wanted to take Allie to a dark place.
Go drive around. Go somewhere, and we could go somewhere in the dark or something to make out and stuff.
Disgusting.
Now we're going to place tons of pressure on Hastings PD, the detectives, and everyone involved to make sure Chris is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and justice is served.
Yeah, but here's my question. Going back to the first one, are they just going to claim mental illness now and then they're going to just be put into a mental space and then just let out again? Because it seems like that's the pattern here. I want to know what you guys think. Should these people be actually put into actual real prison? Or should they be put into a mental space? Or should we have a mental hospital within the prison to take care of what's going on with these people and why they are attracted to little kids? Because you can't, there's got to be something done. The first one proves it. They just keep getting let out and go back and doing the same thing over and over and over again. Or can you never let them out of a mental institution? So, if you know the answers to all those, I'd appreciate if you put it in the comments. Now, that being said, I found this last one, and I had seen this interview before, and I think it's a really important interview. And it's an interview with an actual sex offender who has been arrested many times before. He's a convicted predator, Jack Reynolds, and he describes like how he would go after kids. It's actually a little bit disturbing, but I think it's a very important video.
How did you get them alone?
I would check out their family situation.
Wow.
I would check out their clothing to see how well they were, financially.
This is so important.
I would check out their social interaction with other kids.
Yeah.
When we were on the ballparks or on the gym floor, I would make sure which ones I wanted to molest. I would give them special attention, congratulate them, talk to them when I know that I would never be allowed to talk to anybody else. Aside from everybody, I would give them the attention that an official is not supposed to give anybody. And it made them feel like, wow,
yeah,
he's paying me attention. It is a direct form of grooming.
Were there certain characteristics that you looked for in children before molesting them?
In children, yes, but more I also looked at their families. If I thought the father was a threat, I would not approach the child. If I thought that the child had friends that he would tell, I would not approach him. If I thought the child had friends that were in the same capacity he was, I would approach him.
Wow.
For the simple fact that if I could molest him, I could lure him into believing, grooming him into believing that he would enjoy it. And therefore, I could manipulate him into having his other friends come and be molested by me as well.
So perhaps a child that doesn't really have a whole lot of friends, maybe not really a strong family, things like that.
Yes, no spiritual values, weak in education, you know, needs help in many ways. Even from split parenting, you know, has a mother who may be having problems with the family, you know, well, here comes superhero in to help out, you know, wow, well, thank you very much. No problem. You ever need me to take him away for the night so you can have a night out? No problem. It works.
As much as that just made me want to puke, it is a valuable video, valuable on so many levels. Really, he's telling you exactly the kind of children they look for. More, in a sense, a loner kid, or a kid who doesn't have a lot of friends, or maybe even a family that's not solid, spiritual beliefs, so many things that it's easy to groom these children into trusting this older man, and then getting the friends of the kid to come over. It is so crazy. You know, I really feel so disgusted that so many of the people that I found today are identifying as trans. There's so many more. I didn't even have a chance to show you. It's just out there. And like that one clip from the news stated, that we have created a problem by creating this idea that anyone can be a woman, and that we should allow them in women's spaces when they're not women, they're men who are identifying. And we have really regressed in the transsexual space, and it has been taken over by a bunch of crazy people who are abusing the system. And now we need to get back to understanding that gatekeeping is so important in this, and understanding that calling out the predators within your own community are hugely important. No matter what community you are in, you have to call out the bad players in your community. And I will continue to do that. And I don't care what the so-called community thinks about me. I will continue to stand with my own morals and integrity, and feel that it is an important conversation that we have. And why is this happening at such a fast rate, and now all of a sudden so many men decide they're women, and this horrible stuff is happening. I can't wait to share this story with you all.
Let's see if this makes you want to come to the show. So the show is called Girl, How Did I Get Here? So a lot of it is about like my life and my career, but also, like, you know, I talk a lot about my most recent relationship. That was, you know, it was beautiful, it was amazing, it was awesome. But my ex-boyfriend, when we met 5 years ago at the height of the pandemic, he was 26, I was 48. He is blonde hair, blue-eyed, MAGA Republican voter who is a New York City police officer. And we were madly in love and had 3.5 great years. And then things shifted.
I hope you all, this is blowing up on the internet. It is so good. And she, blonde hair, blue eyed, like he's 26 or something, and a mega Republican New York City cop. Bam, just slid that in there. First off, I want to let you know something. I actually like Laverne Cox, and her and I would think are friends. We kind of went our separate ways during this whole trans insanity, just because I don't want to have people, I just don't want to deal with stuff. So, you know, whatever. I haven't spoken to her in a long time. But prior to that, we have spoken, and I think we're super cool with each other. I am going to show you today how the trans community will rear its ugly head. You know, she's the darling of the trans community. I want to show you something. If you don't know who I'm talking about, do you all remember this was her on the cover of Time magazine like in 2014 during the whole like trans thing. She's like the darling of the trans community. She's black and trans and everything is black and trans now, like basically everything is focused on black trans women. I have my own thing with that. Not that I think that, black trans women shouldn't be out there, but I don't think they're the end all be all of the trans community. That being said, I just am, she was in Orange is the New Black. She's an actress. She's, she's out there doing her thing and really rising above it all and just did a lot of stuff and got a lot of trans presence out in the world. It is so good because I just couldn't believe when I saw this. The community just ate her up because she dated a blonde, blue-eyed, MAGA Republican New York City cop. Okay, let's get right back into this. But thanks so much for liking, subscribing, all the stuff you do. Because, oh my God, I want to get into this right now. So hold on here. Let me get back to I just can't even believe it.
So yeah, that's one of the things I'm talking about in my show. That relationship that I'm still processing. Yeah, and and I still love him. Even though I did not develop any of his politics, I still have my own. But I still love him. So yeah. Yeah, my ex-boyfriend was 22 years younger than me, hot, MAGA Republican, New York City police officer. Yeah. To hear more about that, come to my show at City Winery in New York City, July 28th. It's a Monday, show time 8 p.m. And yeah, love. Yeah.
Wait, I was going to say something before I play this next one. Because she's also promoting her show, which is genius, but I think it backfired on her. Because, hold up here, I have some of the comments. It's like, okay, all the MAGA men love the dolls. It's crazy. Our dating pools are typically full of men that voted for our rights to be infringed upon. Been there, mamas. I feel for you and the dolls. And the next one is, you should have taken this to the grave, babe. It's the smiling with pride that's bothering me, as if we're a badge of honor. So you recorded this, edited it, and still pressed upload? There's a saying, it literally sleeping with the enemy. How can you fight so reverently for your community, yet love someone who hates your community and your body language and your giddy smile? And I'll do it again. Look, these people are insane. I know lots of MAGA Republicans who do not hate us. These people are insane. Secondly, I don't know what the problem is when you find somebody who has different political space. MAGA doesn't want to kill us. The rhetoric that's coming out of these people against her is so crazy. I mean, there's just so much hate towards her. You're black. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, what? They hate us. They hate black people. They hate da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, hate this for you. Never really understood your movement on contributions to the community. Now I'm even more confused. Now they are just going after her. Like, it's just mean. They're just being mean now. So I guess you can't have a different political opinion in the community, as you know, and why I left. Because you're going to watch the darling of the trans community, the black trans woman of all black trans women, is going to get her thing is going to get kicked out from underneath her. So let's just keep going here.
I don't know what the fuck Laverne Cox is talking about, but I know originally I said age gap relationships are cool once everybody's like past 25, but then I just watched that story time she just did. I don't know, maybe I was wrong because it still looked weird, and now I feel weird like supporting her because 48, 26, oh, that's weird. No, and then he was a MAGA blue-eyed, and there's a lot going on. I hope it's a joke. It's not funny. I mean, it's not funny, haha, anyway, but that was crazy.
Laverne, this was a take we didn't need. To date a MAGA cop while you're a black trans person is insane. I didn't need you to be that open. We're not talking about a difference of opinion. We're talking, what? He doesn't think you should exist.
Oh my God, these people are insane. That is not true. That is actually not true. First off, secondly, they're also pissed that he's white because they made some comments like your eyes were rolling when you talked about him being white and blue eyes. Like a black person can't date a white person in 2025. The racism is thick, just thick in this whole scenario. And the divide between people, right? And this idea that the MAGA Republicans hate everyone is all BS. I know, do you know how many first off, black people I know who are MAGA Republicans? A lot. Secondly, I know a lot of LGBT members who are Republicans. So these people are just in their weird little victim-y bubble. Oh, she's gonna get a whipping from these people.
Are we making the wrong people famous? Because, bitch, when am I going to be famous? Because I'm not problematic.
I can't believe I'm even saying this right now. I literally just had to unfollow Laverne Cox on all social media platforms.
See, they can't handle it. They cannot handle it for somebody to have a different opinion. Whoa, now, I got ostracized from that stupid, lame-ass community. They don't like you if you have a different opinion, and I've always had a different opinion. And the minute you sort of say things like, oh, they will take you down. There used to be a hashtag, cancel Buck Angel. So actually watching this happening to somebody who's like the highest of the highest in the trans community is so absurd. Oh, they're eating their own. Whatever, Laverne, it's not against you in any way, shape, or form, my friend. But I have to say, I wish it was somebody else, but I have to say, wow, I just love watching you guys eat each other up.
Oh, sorry. I tried my best to give it time because I saw the post where she said that her ex-boyfriend was MAGA. I saw it, I clocked it, and I said, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. I'm going to just wait and see if she says more about this because I know the girls are going to tear her up in the comments. And I even wrote in the comment section, is this a prank? Where's Ashton? So it wasn't a prank. She just released another live video where she was talking about her experience dating this white police officer that was a Trump.
White. See that? White. Like she can't date a white. I feel like the white part is worse than the MAGA Republican part.
Trump supporter. And I'm sorry, I just had to stop watching within the first 5 minutes because she was romanticizing the situation like she did not lower herself to be with a man who was not deserving of her.
Wow, these people, their judgment is insane. You don't even know this dude, okay? Yeah, because he has a political opinion, he's the devil. This is what's wrong with this country, okay? This is what's wrong with trans, non-binary, queer, LGBT people. You guys are so stuck in your own weird little bubble that you think anyone who has a different opinion than you is against you. You just take your own community. The ship is sinking hard. I am so happy I jumped ship a long time ago.
Oh, I can't believe I'm even saying this right now. I literally just huge slap in the face to the people who are advocating for Black trans women every day, whether it be through social media, whether it be through our...
I told you, it's all about Black trans women, as if no one else in the trans community exists.
Own societal communities, whether it be on the front lines, actually protesting. I can't justify that. Baby, the way I would have went to my grave never saying that... You should have kept it. You should have kept it, sis. You should have kept it. We don't need to know everything. We don't need to know everything. You're so much better than that. It just didn't sit right with me. Am I overreacting?
Who are you? Yeah, babe, you're overreacting. It's not about you. It's about her and her personal relationship. And you'd rather her go to the grave with that? You know, you guys sound like 1950 when, like, Black and white people weren't allowed to be together. And, like, you actually sound like that. The racism in this is so absurd. I really do. I feel like it's more about the kid being the kid, the 26-year-old. I'm 63. My partner is 45. There's a huge age difference there. I don't know what you people are tripping out on with this age thing. Secondly, she said she was in love. And let's just go on. I just am so disgusted by whoever these people are.
And I was like, let me check on this post and see what the children are saying. And the children are gagging that my ex-boyfriend, the MAGA Republican, Trump voting cop, people are gagging.
Yeah,
people are gagging in the comments. And I don't know. I didn't really think about what the reaction would be. I just was like telling the truth about it, teasing the show. It is a big part of the show that I'm doing at City Winery a week from today. That relationship, what the relationship was like, how we attempted to navigate our differences. Politically, but
I think it sounds amazing, and I think it takes a lot of balls, for lack of a better word, to like actually say that and put it out there. I don't think she was expecting this backlash that she got. I really don't. I think she's in shock how people are treating her so shitty right now. It's crazy. Wait, I want to go to the actual post and read some of the comments here. How embarrassing, the way her eyes were rolling back, describing his Aryan features. See that? Oh my God. I can't disagree on pizza toppings, not an intentional group of people trying to ruin my right to exist. You people are obsessed with thinking they're trying to ruin. I transitioned before probably more than 90% of you people on this platform here, and you're all acting like you can't. I've existed for 33 years. I know you're going to say it's because I'm white and I have a white privilege. Bitch, I was homeless, cracked out of my brains, slung out on the curb. So don't you dare try that nonsense, because I know you're going to go for that one. And then, did he buy her that wig? Wait, is she saying she met a man who was a New York City cop and mega vote and she still dated him? It's just crazy. They're like so going after her on this.
For the record, when we met on Tinder, when we matched on Tinder, I didn't know what he did for a living. I didn't know his politics. We were just chatting. And I was like, let me check on this post and see. He actually, told me he did something else. I'll explain. If you come to the show, I'll explain in the show. And I was in love. One of the comments was like, just say it was about the D. That was lovely too.
Wow.
It was lovely. But I'm a grown woman. I'm a grown woman. I've lived.
You have.
am not going to date someone for like 4 years because of the D or because of something superficial about how he looks.
They don't like the fact that she was in a long, 3 or whatever years with this guy, and she clearly was in love. She just said it, and they clearly had something going on. They don't like it. They don't like that she actually has with somebody that they would create their own opinion about without taking the time to learn about him, which she did. I bet she met him. She's like, oh, Megan, like, I'm not. But they decided to figure it out, and they lasted a long time. But they can't seem to get past that. This is how superficial all of these people are and how disgusting. And this is now the Democratic Liberal Party. You know that. All of these people consider themselves Democrat liberals, okay? And these are the people that have no tolerance for anyone outside of their own bubble.
He has a beautiful soul and has really beautiful qualities. And I was in love. And as I found out his job and his politics, particularly in 2020, if you recall, we were having conversations really for the first time in this country about white supremacy and trying to have conversations with people across difference. And anyone who knows me, like for years, I've always encouraged people to have conversations with people across difference with love and empathy. That is a value of mine that I strongly believe in, and that is something I attempted to do in this relationship, and that's a lot of what the show is about, in addition to like, how did I get here? And then things get very complicated. It's not I don't want to give away what happened in our relationship. You should come to the show and find out if you can.
See, she really says some really great things. That's the one thing I've always admired about Laverne. She will have the conversation. She is into having that dialogue, and she is into having different opinions. And, you know, but I think once she got to the status that she is in the trans, she couldn't have. They won't let you have these conversations. It's why I also separated myself, because I don't want to put pressure on these people to be, you shouldn't be friends with Buck, or you shouldn't, you know what I mean? I have different opinion than her about a lot of things, about the trans kid thing, about all of it. So we have total different opinions, but I don't dislike or hate her. And I would probably almost think that she doesn't think that about me, but she is willing to always have the conversation. But this community that puts her up is now going to tear her down hard.
I do want to say that reading the comments, and I get it, it feels like a lot of people in the comment section are dehumanizing people who have different political beliefs than they do. And I see that all over social media. I see that all over the media. If someone has different political beliefs, they're somehow not human anymore. And that is something that dehumanizing anyone is not consistent with my values.
Right on.
Fascism is not consistent with my values. I am an anti-fascist. I never adopted any of my ex's politics. I always challenged him and with love and empathy, and tried to listen to his perspectives.
That's it.
Often corrected him.
But on the flip side of that, maybe he could correct you on some things, I would hope. I hope it's not just all about him being the bad guy and you thinking, you know, all your politics are the right way. That's the thing about politics. Politics is a personal choice and a personal thing. What I see as a transsexual and what you see as a transgender are going to be two different things, coming from our different color space, our community space, all of it. But it doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong, and I'm wrong and I'm right and you're wrong. You know, that's the thing I think I really value people like yourself. You're very mature in that kind of conversation. The immaturity in the transgender community is disgusting. And now you're going to feel it, friend. You're going to feel the brunt of it because you stepped outside the box. And this is the problem with being put on a pedestal by a community. It won't last forever. You will be ripped down the minute you step outside of the boundaries that they have given you. Now, that being said, I want to bring this last video up here because I just am disgusted. This person really upset me a lot, and I just want to highlight it because I want to just say something here.
My microphone is broke, but Laverne Cox decided to get on the internet to promote her show because none of the DEIs in Hollywood are working anymore.
First comes straight out the gate dissing her hard. Like, you know, you're going to see the jealousy that these people have had about her success. There's no doubt in my mind. As many of these people, they also don't like when you're a success. They hate it when you're a success, but they pretend like they want you to be a success. But once you get to be a success, they want to rip you down. And now they're all the queens. All the queens are going to come out, all the dolls, all the people who were her friends are all going to rip her a new one.
And so she wanted to tell the world that she dated a MAGA Republican Jew for 3 years.
Wait, did I just hear that right? Did he just say a MAGA Republican Jew? Hold up here 1 second. 1 second.
Republican Jew for 3 years.
He did. He actually said, where did she ever call him Jewish? Hold on for a second.
So she wanted to tell the world that she dated a MAGA Republican Jew for 3 years who is an NYC cop. You mean to tell me that you...
Oh, great. Now we're throwing anti-Semitism in it. What does that have to do with anything? So you can't be white. You can't be Jewish. You can't be a Republican. Oh my God, these people are insane. I'll put a link to this person's bio. Oh my God. Wow, fucking gross, man.
He laid with a man for 3 years because he was hot, blonde, and blue-eyed.
And you're telling me you wouldn't? Please, just because you can't get it.
Did you hear the desperation in her damn throat? Did you?
No, no desperation at all.
You hear the damn pick-me energy?
Watch I can't help it. I'm gonna stop stopping. But the pick me, the Jew, the white, it's all the same nonsense.
And then for you to sit up on the internet and relish. So you're clearly not getting any good right now, because that's what it's saying. If you reminiscing about something, then the that you got now ain't doing it. Oh, okay. That would hurt his feelings. Wow. Encouraging. I have always found it very interesting that anytime the trans girls be under wrap, you're nowhere to be seen unless they're paying you. Which, I mean, hey, get your check. But, I mean, the level of desperation, I mean, she is relishing her. Girl, you know what? I will still buy a ticket if you are going to do something with the money. I mean, like, you're going to buy a house, a condo for the girls to sit up in, since you wanted to lay next to the very people, wanted to lay next to your very oppressor.
Oh my God, you see what they do to you in that community? They build you up and just, yeah, what are you going to do with all that money? How do you even know this? The stuff you're making up, because now she's a success and she got herself out of a situation, whatever she was in before. You're so jealous. The jealousy is seeping.
What are you going to do with that? Are you getting the reparations from it? What are we doing? Are you buying a building, a fourplex or duplex for the girls? Are you giving them job training? What are you doing with your stupidity now that you have?
Is that person? What a shame. I am so happy not to be a part of that community. Oh, they are sick. Dog eat dog. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, I don't enjoy watching anyone get stiffed. I mean, especially Laverne, I just have to say, in my goings and comings with her, she's always been very sweet to me. So I don't like it. I think she was honest and being very honest. And I just am so disgusted by the trans community. They're just all a bunch of losers, and they can't handle it when anyone is a success.